Hello, I'm Kit Thomas. I am an illustrator. I do children's books, graphic novels now, and yeah, I have an Instagram, and recently it blew up quite a bit thanks to Reels, which is blessing and a curse. Cause boy, oh boy, I do miss just being able to post images, and that being enough for the precious algorithm. No, hey, I got a ton of new peeps up in here because of that. And with that, there's a lot of like questions that have either been like answered in the past or things that I'd never even like thought of questioning about myself. You don't really like know what people want to know about you. But hi, welcome. If you're here watching right now, it would be awesome if you were to subscribe. I'm trying to become more active. You know, I feel like a lot of us want to become content creators, and some of the questions on here that I had on my Instagram poll asked you guys to send in some questions. There were some questions that definitely sounded like y'all were interested in either growing your career as an artist or just making like a social presence for your art, which are both extremely valid, and I'm going to be answering some things today, personal and non-personal. If you'd like to subscribe, please hit subscribe. If you want to leave a comment below, feel free to do that too. Everything is welcome. We're all Gucci gang over here. So without any further ado, let's look at some of these questions. The first question I have is from Curly Swirly 04. How did you get started for your first illustrated book? How was the journey to getting there? I feel like this needs to be its own whole thing, but I'm gonna try like my best to make like a condensed but genuine answer that is useful for you. I guess it started like in school. Making sure I was taking classes that actually supported and benefited me wanting to be an artist. I knew pretty early on that that's what I wanted to do. I wasn't too great at school, so art was kind of the thing that I knew that I needed if I wanted to make any money or like be successful. It was kind of just relying on my art. So taking classes in high school, taking AP Studio Art, because that actually translates into direct credits into college, whether if you go to a university and take art classes there, if you go to like a full-on dedicated art school, which is what I did next after high school. I did some community college, knocked that out of the way, art school, gained the skills that I needed to know and that I'm doing now in my industry, gained those skills at art school. And I was scouted from the Cat Agency. My agent Chad found one of my comics that I did for class, posted online, and he messaged me, and that's it soared on through there. So just building relationships, also building a presence on social media too, because you never know who's going to be seeing your art. It's not even exactly what I wanted to do originally. I didn't ever see myself doing children's illustrations or graphic novels, but it just kind of ended up that way. And it was a blessing that I got rejected from, some of the other positions that I applied to, because this is where it's at, baby. Okay, and so how I got started on my first illustrated book specifically, how the process kind of works is, you're on the agency's website, you're listed as one of the many artists that are there. Companies can come over, find you, be like, "Ooh, I like that one. I like that person's art right there. Let's get them on this project." And then your agent will be like, "Hey, do you like this project? They like you." You say yes or no. And that's how I got into my first book, which was Stacey's Extraordinary Words. I applied for that. It was a few artists that they wanted to narrow down. So very, very thankful that I was chosen. I really didn't think it was gonna be me, but hey, you never know. So that's kind of how it happened. It was just a lot of being in the right place at the right time. I think that's what a lot of life or art career stuff is, just because there's so much networking. But yeah, journey's good. I like it here. What's your favorite movie? It's Spirited Away. When did you start doing art? Kind of answered in the last question. I kind of just always been doing art ever since I was sentient enough to make art, I believe. What's your favorite musical artist? That I like Neo Soul a lot. Neo Soul really hits my heart. A lot of bedroom pop hits my heartstrings too. Music that just makes me pretty emotional, makes me feel a little sad. I like music that makes me feel things. I like being in touch with my emotions. I'm a Cancer. What can I say? My moon and sun, both, are in Cancer. What's your favorite hairstyle to draw? I kind of like the hairstyle that I have right now is kind of based on the hairstyle I like to draw. But I'm gonna flash some stuff here. I like to draw like straight bangs too. Anything with bangs. Of course, I love curly hair because why not? Who doesn't like to draw curly hair? And if you don't know how to draw curly hair, maybe you should be asking me how to draw curly hair, and then I could do a video about drawing curly hair. That's an idea. That I like to draw. I like drawing just really covering your face as much as possible. Is it true that a shrimp's heart is located in its head? Hey, Echo! What's your favorite anime if you watch some, or favorite movie? Anime, I watch everything under the sun, really. I'm watching Made in Abyss right now. It's making me pretty sad. It's kind of like the thing I'm currently binging. Chainsaw Man also is really nice. I really like that. Spy X Family, also really nice. But like the OG things that I really like are Naruto was extremely impactful to me. It still is. Like the Magical Girl anime. Growing up, I liked watching like Sailor Moon. I liked Tokyo Mew Mew. I liked Madoka Magica. Just anything Magical Girl. Shugo Chara. Yeah, I just like a whole bunch of stuff. Anything from like intense horror to very cute and fluffy. In terms of my favorite movie, when I was a kid, it used to be The Golden Compass because I like the concept of like my soul, my spirit being tied to my pets, like my animal, because this is, let me show you someone, because this is a Q&A and y'all getting to know me or whatever. This is Garfy. Garfy was my late kitty who passed away at the start of the pandemic and is still forever in my heart, and so I wear his little paw. His little paw on my neck forever, and I really liked Golden Compass, even though everyone said the books are better. I never got into the books, but hey, no one's gotta ask me that. They just continued it. They're gonna, I have nothing to say. Any upcoming projects we can get hyped for, and what keeps you motivated? I have 2 graphic novels that I'm currently working on. Those won't come out in a while. You're not gonna see it soon, not even like advertising for it soon. I think it's kind of, they're long. It's a process. I have Cape coming out, I believe June 20th, and that is a book I am so intensely ecstatic for y'all to see. I can't even explain. This book hits like nothing else ever will, and I can't wait for y'all to see it. It's about loss, and if you're a child or an adult, you will enjoy it. It's one of those books, one of those stories, like that's a perfect example of you don't have to be a child to, you know, like animation or cartoons. I feel like this is such a perfect example because it is an intense and a mature topic that I don't think is covered very often in children's books, especially one that's featured by like a young Black boy, especially. So look out for that. And what keeps me motivated? Having a family to feed keeps me motivated. My pets, my pups, my little kitty, all keep me very happy, very motivated. It's weird to say motivation because it just feels like a part of my being to create art. I realized another thing that keeps me motivated that's extremely important, and I can't believe I forgot to mention this. I feel like a fool and an idiot and a fraud for not mentioning this first. One of the things that keeps me motivated is that I never saw people who looked like me growing up, people who looked like my family growing up, and so I really, especially being in art school and not being in a very diverse art school, at least in terms of the Black population, putting things based in Black countries, Black experiences, Black culture, just like Black experience, even things like Black joy, like my hair brings me so much joy, even though people want to overcomplicate things in society's standards, to feel seen, to feel loved, to feel like they have a place, to feel like their story is worth reading, because it absolutely is. Your story is worth reading. What's your least favorite drawing? There it is. Red Paris 9, tips on learning environments. Ooh, I would just say to grab your book and go touch some grass. You need to go outside. There are no ifs, ands, or buts around it. You need to just go outside and just start drawing. You could, of course, heck, man. I just grabbed this. I didn't even prepare this. Drawing perspectives step by step. It doesn't even have the offer on here. That's kind of weird. But yeah, you know, there's tons of books out there that will show you the basics of perspective and objects in space in relation to things like horizon line and just, you know, so you could do cool stuff like this guy. Don't you want to be like this guy? I want to be like that guy. Wow, look at those blocks. They're like pointing up at something. Go outside and start drawing. Because you're just naturally going to get better. Even if you're not studying and looking at the book, if you are going outside or just laying in bed, you pull out your sketchbook or your iPad and just start drawing the things around you, you will improve. So that's just like a simple, easy way to do it. And then eventually you'll start liking it. It's like that for everyone. Like even in art school, everyone's like, oh no, anything but that. Don't make us do backgrounds, please. Anything. But then, you know, towards like senior year, it's kind of like, oh, we have to do background. I guess I know how to do it or whatever, but I don't want to, but I will do it. Progress, and making little steps towards that progress is how you learn to do environments. How hard was it reaching out to different authors and collaborating with them? So that's more of like an agency thing. I don't reach out to authors at all. It's just me being listed on my agent's website, my portfolio being on there as an available artist for, like, you know, like authors and publishers and editors to scoop me up and place me into their project. However, I do sort of do picking a little bit. I get sent a chunk of things that actually pique my interest that Chad knows, because like my agent knows me so well. He just knows the things that I like. So he'll send me a few like, hey, look at these. I think these are really good projects for you. And I can, you know, either accept or deny whichever, you know, things I want. Sometimes there's like some really good selections, but I just can't fit everything in that year, and that sucks. And then I have to pick. But other than that, it's mostly just given to me. I don't do any of the reaching out, which is nice because I have anxiety. What is your work at Disney? I do not work at Disney. That was like a question that people had that I guess was like a misconception from the post that I made. I don't work at Disney or Sony. I applied at those places. I've had interviews at those places, but I do not work there. This might be silly, but for portfolio pieces, what size canvas and DPI do you use? So I work in any sort of aspect ratio. It's super important that you consider whether if your stuff is going to be printed or just viewed online. If you're submitting stuff online, you probably just want it like an RGB if you want your colors to look really bright, vibrant, and, you know, just to the PC's colors, PC picks colors, not printer picks colors. And then for the DPI, always at least 300 DPI. Every single project I've ever worked on, as well as in college, they prepared you for file formatting and things like that. 300 DPI is like a really good, like, professional standard. It ensures that your stuff is like going to be able to be printed at a reasonable size without losing quality, while also being viewed online without losing quality if someone were to zoom in and zoom out. So 300 DPI, consider whether you want RGB or CMYK, and everything else in terms of like the aspect ratio, square, box, you know, rectangle, whatever you want, skinny rectangle, long rectangle, whatever you want. The world is your oyster. How did you find your art style? It is so cute. Meowy face. Thank you. I found my art style by just practicing a lot. I was inspired a lot by like anime and graphic novels growing up, obviously, so you can see like those influences in my art. You kind of just draw what you see around you, and that's how I would say is to find your style. Draw things that you like, and then eventually you will form your own voice. You as an artist are mostly just made up of things that you consume on a day-to-day basis. How are you today? I'm doing great, thank you. I hope you're doing great too. Watched the finale of The Last of Us, and I played all the games, and I still cried. So there's that. But really wonderful adaptation. Beautiful, beautiful. 10 out of 10. The only one I like. If you're full-time, your journey into that. I guess I kind of explained it before, just me being hired into it. It just happens to be a full-time job. If you're working for an agency, you could be part-time. I guess it just depends on how many hours a week you put into making your art. Like 40 hours, more or less, if that's what full-time means. It's pretty flexible, but of course there's always deadlines and things like that you have to meet. So as long as you're meeting those things and you're making, everyone else's jobs nice and smooth, then you're good. You're Gucci. What is your absolute favorite thing to draw? I love drawing me some cute girls. I love drawing girls so much. I like drawing them being all angsty and emo like pinup style girls a lot. They make me very happy, and I could just easily kind of trauma dump onto them whatever position JoJo pose I want from them, and it makes me happy, makes me cathartic, and I like drawing girls. How do you recommend getting illustrating for children's media? You can apply to agencies. I know I said I was scouted, but you can also apply. You can also sometimes just be scouted for a project just for the sake of them finding you and liking your art. No agency attached, which, that's great because that means you get to keep all of your proceeds. It's not like distributed to the agent because obviously they find you the job, they keep you afloat. You're just doing things on your own. You can do that. A lot of times on Instagram, you'll see a lot of authors, and sometimes, they post, hey, I'm looking for an artist. Can anyone suggest me any? I know a lot of people also... Mama! Listen! But I just know that everyone's been blowing up all over social media, so definitely use social media to your benefit. Use your social media presence to get your work because you are worth it and you are talented and you are a hard worker. And sometimes, like a lot of people, they just don't realize that they are such good, talented artists because they put a paywall of, oh, I don't have X amount of followers, or oh, I don't have X amount of projects. A lot of times you are a perfectly wonderful and amazing, talented, unique artist. You just haven't been discovered yet. So it's up to you if you don't have an agent. Mama! It's up to you if you don't have an agent to put yourself out there and market yourself like nobody's business. Because once you land that one job, it'll make it easier to get the second, the third, the fourth, so on and so forth. Fifth, so on and so fifth, To really work hard to find something that is within your limits, within your capabilities, and yeah, you'll be able to get into children's illustrating no problem, and I believe in you absolutely. Meep. How do you draw so pretty? Thank you. You are so pretty. I don't know how I draw so pretty. How much time do you think you spend doing art? I can spend up to a few hours or under an hour for a piece. It really depends. Sometimes I'm just in the zone and I just fly through. I have a really bad habit of not eating or drinking sometimes when I'm working. So I just quite literally can go on for 8 hours and just push one piece. And that would usually be something for like a book. But if it's something for Instagram, it's usually always under an hour. Who is your favorite person to draw, as well as do you have any OCs? My favorite person to draw? I don't know. I feel like I draw myself a lot, or just reiterations of myself a lot. I'm scrolling. I don't have a particular person. I just have a catalog of sad girls. And do I have any OCs? I used to have OCs a lot. I used to have a lot of OCs. I kind of fell off of that though when I got into college. Yeah, I fell off in college. I used to have a whole bunch of stuff and projects that I had in my brain that I wanted to eventually do stuff with it. I was really into webtoon. I really wanted to make a webtoon, but now I'm making an IRL webtoon with graphic novels, which is really cool, and I'm so excited for that. And I hope I'm allowed to share any of that process because I'd love to document that and make more videos on the other projects that I'm working on, because I'd love to give y'all some more insight, because I feel like me answering these questions, like some of these questions, like isn't doing it justice. Like I feel like that's not enough, you know what I mean? So if you subscribe, maybe you might get some better detailing on these answers in the future. An art question, how do you use colors for lighting and shadows? And then non-art question, what's your gender? I like using blue as my shading color. Lots of oranges, pinks, purples for like my lighting usually. Using complementary colors with each other, that kind of thing. Taking from the sky color. What kind of shadow is the sky color going to produce? What kind of lighting is that lighting there going to produce? I identify as sort of like gender fluid and agender. Are you a silly Billy? Look at this gentleman. Look at this excellent specimen. Exquisite! Yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I really hope you guys had a good time here while you were here. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I super appreciate you, and I hope you can consider subscribing, leaving a comment, checking out my art or any of my books that I've published, and I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful night or day wherever you are in the world. Bye!